Peace, peace, peace. Mind Ascension here, y'all. Peace to my 6 to 22 strands, 7 to 9 ether, you melanin, selenium, base black gods of this planet. Hold on, y'all. Let me set y'all up. Y'all know Mind Ascension. I'm always setting things up and then trying to fix it as soon as the camera start rolling. Maybe we could tilt y'all like this. Want to make sure y'all see my ugly ass face. All right, there we go. Anyway, here with my brother once again, and ready to build, ready to get out of it. We out in the elements. You see what I'm saying? Raj shining. We got the blue skies up there. So bottom line, let's just get to it, my brother. Let's get to it. What's going on, man?
So my thoughts today seems to be on frequency, higher level of vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and what types of practices can assist in that maximum or optimal output of us as gods on the planet.
And as y'all already know, that's my introduction. But bottom line, man, before we even start desiring, focusing on the elevation of our divine aspect, our abilities, so on and so forth, the first thing we have to do is we have to cleanse the vessel. You have to clean out your vessel. You have to cleanse your vessel, because it's like having a high-powered rifle that's rusted and never been cleaned. Yes, you have a high caliber. Yes, you have an extremely precise and accurate weapon. But if that weapon is rusted, if that weapon is damaged in any way, shape, or form, if it's aged, so on and so forth, it's completely incapable of anything. So when we talk about raising energy, when we talk about raising divinity, when we talk about raising mental capacity, so on and so forth, the first thing we have to do is we have to cleanse the vessel. And y'all know Mind Ascension, I'm not huge on health, but I'm huge on the basic aspects that it takes to reach a level to where health becomes irrelevant, because you've already reached a level to where your mind is able to work clear now. Because that's the only thing we need to worry about. Stop focusing on the super special herbs and the super special foods. Focus on cleansing and clearing your body, getting your body to its balanced state, and then the mind is all after that. And you don't even have to worry about none of that. So the first thing we need to do is clean out the inside of your vessel, which is your colon, which is your rectum. You see what I'm saying? Void yourself of foods. Do a true fast. Do a colon cleansing. You see, do enemas. Do alkaline waters, and constantly drinking. Now, once you finally get to a stage where, and by the way, let me add this, a true fast does not begin until after 3 days of being completely void of physical solid food. So when we talk about, oh, I was on a cayenne fast and I was on this type of fast, and that's all bullshit. What you're talking about is a specific diet, but you're not talking about a fast. A fast is going at the minimum of about 72 hours, over 48 hours of absolutely nothing whatsoever in your body. Because after the third day of you receiving nothing in your body is to an extent, depending on who you are, completely void of food. And remember, your hunger is an illusion, because your hunger is nothing but electrical signals to your brain from the particles of food in your body being felt by the microscopic particles of your organs, the microscopic particles of your colon, which, by the way, just like your tongue, just like your nose, have little fingers inside. Some of them is called the papillae. I forget what the other ones are called in the nose, but they're small little fingers that, when those microscopic particles touch those small little fingers, it sends sensory aspects, which are electrical signals, to your brain and go, hey, I'm hungry. Then the other side of hunger is the repetitious symbolism, where you see KFC, you see McDonald's, you see a commercial, you smell food, blah, blah, blah. And once again, Remember, there is no five senses. You might hear me talk about the five senses in a very microscopic aspect, but there is no five senses. There's only the sense of touch, because you can't smell anything if your nose is closed. You can't hear anything if your ears are clogged. You can't see anything if your eyelids are closed. So basically, all the five senses are dependent on one sense, which is touch. So I say that to prove to you that when you're actually smelling something, what you're smelling is not smell per se, but it's actually electrical signals being sent to the brain to tell you you're smelling something. So if you clog both your nostrils, you can't smell shit. And you know why you can't smell shit? Because those microscopic particles floating on the air that touch the papillae, well, that would be your tongue, but that touch the, or I think it is your nose, but anyway, that touch those microscopic hairs inside your nose is what sends the signal to your brain. So when you close off the ability for those particles to touch that part of your nose, you can't smell nothing. So when you have food inside your body, inside your colon, that's stuck in your small intestines or your large intestines, it's constantly sending signals to your brain. And by the way, this is why you'll have quote-unquote cravings for something, because technically you might be craving chicken because you still have a chicken wing in your colon from 1986 sometime. You see what I'm saying? Because the small intestines and large intestines is coiled inside the body. And not only that, it's very long in length. So at any moment while you are digesting food or putting food through your body, it can get stuck at any one of those corners. And just one microscopic piece, just one morsel, just one crumb of whatever food that you feel that you have digested and ate can send a signal to your brain, giving you the illusion of hunger. But anybody that has been on a true fast for more than 3 days, for more than 4 or 5 days, will understand that you get to a certain point where not only do you not feel hunger, but you actually might feel like you already ate. And there's been times where I myself have been on a fast and I had to rethink and go, wait a second, did I eat something? Because I'll feel full and I'll feel satisfied. You see? So everything physical that we pay attention to, that we truly feel is something worth acknowledging, is truly in existence based on senses sent to the brain due to electrical signals, due to your neurons reacting. And when your neurons react, they send messages to each other. But if there's nothing physical to touch the particles within your organs, to touch the particles within your nose, to touch the taste buds, which are particles on your tongue, to touch your eardrum, which is microscopic aspect within your ear, then you can't hear, see, taste, smell anything. So when we talk about raising vibration, when we talk about raising frequency, when we talk about mental capacity, so on and so forth, the first thing you have to do is cleanse your vessel. And your vessel is your body. Once you cleanse your vessel, once you clean your body, then you can begin other practices that will allow you to receive these energies and informations that you can reach a higher level to be able to start experiencing those different things that will bring you to other levels. So first and foremost, before we even talk about techniques, before we even talk about anything, clean your ass out. Clean your small intestines, clean your large intestines, clean your colon, clean your ass out. Do a fast, drink clean alkaline water as much as you can, flush your system, then you can start doing all of that shit. Now, if you want to go on to the foods and all that stuff, and electrical foods and Sabi's list and all of that, that's fine. You can do all of that. But the main concern is doing your fast, voiding your body, drinking clean alkaline water, flushing your system, and giving your body time to take a break from this constant digestion and this constant cycles that it's putting the organs through inside every time you put the smallest morsel of what you refer to as food. I don't care if it's a bag of chips. I don't care if it's one piece of peanut. It's a meal. Because as soon as it hits your stomach, you create chemical reactions that your stomach now is forced to have to break down and separate depending on what you put in your body. Because even the good things that you think you put in your body, they're still filled and absorbed of bad things. I just said peanut. There's peanuts that are soaked in salt, soaked in certain forms of inorganic honeys and all these different things, and you think you're eating something good, but at the end of the day, when it touches your stomach, your intelligent body says, well, wait a second, this isn't real honey. Wait a second, this is salt. Wait a second, this is a peanut. You see what I'm saying? And then it starts separating everything. The fact that it has to separate stuff causes a form of laborious aspect. Digestion is laborious. This is why when you overeat, you have to go to sleep. This is why even when you eat anything, to be honest with you, you have a stage in yourself that you don't feel like running a marathon. Let's be honest. Let's stop lying to ourselves. You grew up being taught that food gives you fuel. That's a lie. Because when you eat, if food gave you fuel, then that means I should be able to eat 30,000 apples and never go to sleep, and run a marathon for days, never get tired. If food is fuel, right? So as long as I eat the good stuff, shouldn't I get the good fuel? So that's a lie. That's an illusion. So I hope that answered your question with the first step. Now, after we get over that, and once we cleanse the vessel and get the vessel to its highest capacity of being a divine instrument that it's supposed to be being an intelligent vehicle that it's made to be, now we can get to the outer and external techniques to bring up the physical vibration, the electrical, the magnetic, and so on and so forth. So I don't know if you want to chime in on anything, or want me to reiterate, or confused, or if something didn't sound clear, or anything.
I mean, it's cool. Can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay.
It's some processing that has to take place there.
Well, bottom line, the only reason you have to cleanse your vessel is because, let's be honest, since you were born, you've been destroying your vessel. Since you came out your mother's womb, you've been fed the wrong things. Since you came out, as a matter of fact, when you was in your mother's womb, they gave your mother the delusion and the false concept of eating for two. But how is your mother going to eat for two when, as an embryo, you're barely the size of a safety pin? So what are you talking about eating for two? How are we going to talk about eating for two when, as a fetus, you're barely the size of a walnut? So what do you need? Do you need a hamburger at the size of a walnut? So why are you saying eating for two? That doesn't make any sense. Even when you're at 8, 9 months ready to be born, you're still not eating for two, because you're still a microscopic aspect of the grown adult that needs to eat, or claims needs to eat 3 meals a day. And as a matter of fact, to take it even further, when you are a fully grown baby and are born out of the birth canal, you don't need no solid food. All you need is breast milk. So how dare they tell you that you're eating for two when you're not even a baby yet in the womb, but then when you get out the womb, all you need is breast milk? That doesn't make any sense. Because when you get out the womb, you don't need food right away. You need your mother's milk. And your mother's milk is what makes you grow. So what are you talking about? I'm eating for two when my baby's in the womb and even smaller? And I'm eating for two? That's a big lie. As a matter of fact, when a woman is during pregnancy, she's supposed to be eating less, not more. But that's another subject. But I want to stick to what my brother brought up, which is the frequency aspect. Now, here's another thing. After we cleanse our vessel, after we cleanse our body, after we do regular fasting, regular colonics, so on and so forth, then we can start getting into the practices. Then we can start utilizing the aspects that created the physical dimensions and realities of what we call life, existence, and the universe. And what is that? We're talking about tones. We're talking about geometrics. We're talking about vibration. We're talking about frequency. These are the things that put those particles, put those atoms into an arrangement that created a foundation, that created a dimension, that created a reality. So get into your binaural tones. Get into your certain levels of hertz frequencies. Okay? I believe one of the best ones is 425 or 426. There's so many different levels that you can get in. And that's another thing that people don't want to get into, or people don't teach. Every melanated body, to a certain degree of who and what you are, needs a different frequency. Just because they tell you that 432 hertz is where you're supposed to be and 440 hertz is bad, what they're talking about is the white body. But the melanin body takes a whole different type of frequency, the same way that different cultures and races have different forms of music. And you know that this is a fact because I don't care if you're from Cuba, I don't care if you're from Jamaica, I don't care if you're from Africa, I don't care where you're from. If you go to any place on the planet that is of deep, high eumelanin content, they all have the same frequency of music. It always has a deep beat, it always has a deep rhythm. It might not be your preference based on your environment and your conditioning, but if you listen closely, boom, 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 boom. Boom. It's always deep in drums, always deep. Now, let's go to the other side. Let's go to India. Let's go to China. Let's go to Europe. Bing, ding, 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 ding. Where's the bass at? Where's the bass at? Where's the rhythm? Where's the heartbeat? Because when I hear a rhythm, I'm hearing a heartbeat. And by the way, it's the heart that truly dictates real time. Because even though time is an illusion, it's the beating of the heart and the space between the beats that is the measurement of time. This is why when your heart stops, you're supposed to be dead. So if you study the tones, the music, and the rhythms or non-rhythm of other cultures, you will see that we all have different levels of hertz and frequencies that we are to receive in order to raise or lower our vibrations depending on the environment we're in that is conducive with the field that we're living in. Because sometimes you need to lower your vibration to exist in a certain environment. Let's be honest. It's no different from when you're in a bad neighborhood and instead of being a Poindexter, overly intelligent student, you got to play a thug a little bit so you could get along with the people in the neighborhood. You got to play yourself down a little bit, because if you don't play yourself down, you'll become an outcast in the neighborhood. So you got to play yourself down. I do it a lot all the time. So that's no different from changing the variations of frequencies in order for you to conduct yourself within a certain field of energy and environment. So get into your tones, get into your binaural beats. Okay, there's another one called I know I'm mispronouncing Phrygio hertz and all this. Once you type in binaural beats and you start studying that stuff, you'll see all the different types and go through all of them. Don't just go from what people say is the best. Oh, 432 hertz, 440 hertz. Oh, 526 is for love, and fuck all of that shit. It's about you. It's about what you feel when you listen to it. It's about what resonates with you when you hear it, because your melanated body that has been conditioned with certain foods of lower energy or higher energies, with certain water of unpurified or purified, has changed the entire resonance of your field. So I can't tell you that 432 hertz is perfect for you. I can't tell you that. The only way you're going to know that is when you listen and when your heart and your mind begin to balance on that resonance, creating a matching of that frequency, and then you begin to go into a trance. Now you know that's your frequency. And that's the one you tune into on a consistent basis to bring you outside of this physical field into a metaphysical one, so where you can see things that's beyond this reality veil, this third dimensional lockdown. Tones. Not only that, have chimes in your house. Keep what's called chimes and what they call them. They also chimes too. I know I'm talking about the chimes that you hang, like wind chimes and stuff. I'm also talking the chimes that you hit with a wooden stick with the little ball at the end of it. I keep those all the time. Every time I come into my house, I bing, and you just let the resonance of that sound space out. And if you notice, by the way, since we're talking about it, I'm gonna just let it all go. Sound is an element. As we already know, sound is a physical thing. You can see sound, and you can feel sound, and you can hear sound. Sound is a physical thing. If I close my ear, then the sound won't touch my eardrum. Therefore, it won't send senses to my brain telling me I heard something. So sound is a physical thing. Therefore, when you see Mind Ascension say 7 laws, 3 keys, and what? 4 plus elements. I don't say 4 elements, I say 4 plus elements, because there's more than 4 elements. One of those is sound, another one is thought, and the next one is reflection. So technically there's 7 elements. I'm sure there's way more than that, but these are the 7 of the physical human aspect that can be detected by us. So get into your tones, get into your sounds, keep chimes in your house, keep running. Some of y'all know, some of y'all listen to my videos and go, yo man, what's all that water in the background? When you have running water in your home, that's another level. That's why if you notice, when you download certain sleeping apps, what's one of your choices? Running water. One of your choices is a river or a stream, right? Or rain, right? Because water is an element and sound is an element. So technically, by that one action of running water, you're getting double the elemental power. So I keep running water in my house. I keep chimes in my house. I keep living things in my house, whether they're plants or not. All of these things add to your vibration. All of these things add to your elemental spectrum of what and who you are, allowing you to tune in and raise frequency and raise yourself to higher degrees. If we're going to talk about the things that make you higher. I'll give you another one. Darkness. Darkness. See, this recessive has constantly taught you that light is the way. This recessive has constantly taught you that light is knowledge, that light is good, that light is heaven, that light is the angel, that light is this, light is that. But remember, there is no light without darkness. And from darkness came the light. So if you want to go to the source, if you want to go to the purest state, engulf yourself in darkness. And when I say engulf yourself in darkness, I'll tell you what I do. I cover my windows with cardboard. I put black electrical tape around my electronics so there's no light coming from the numbers or any of that. When I say engulf yourself in darkness, I'm not talking about just turning off the lights. I'm talking about eliminating every microscopic aspect of any form of light that could come into, and you'll know when you're engulfed in darkness. You know how you'll know? Because every spectrum of measurement will disappear. You ever notice when you're in absolute complete darkness, you can't even tell if you're in a small room or a big room? And the only way to tell that is by utilizing the element of sound. And you know why? Because when you utilize the element of sound, since it's a physical thing, it bounces off objects and comes back to you within a certain time frame, which tells you how close something is. But if you were dead quiet and you were still and didn't move, and I covered everything in your room and made it jet dark triple blackness, you wouldn't be able to tell if you was in a gymnasium or a closet. Because the blackness is the unknown. The blackness is the primordial waters, the abyss, the void of all existence, the eternal, cosmic, omniversal womb which all creation comes out of. And because blackness is eternal, unknowing, with no depth, endless creation comes out of it with no limitation. Engulf yourself in darkness. Turn off the TV, unplug it. Unplug the radio. Unplug all of these electronics around this. By the way, this is why they want you to be dependent on electronics. This is why they want you to be dependent on Wi-Fi, 5G, all this other sickness. Because it takes you away from your source aspect of existence. Because this is only a vessel for you to express your spiritual existence. Tones. Darkness. Now, when we talk about geometrics, what are we talking about? We're talking about sigils, okay? We're talking about symbols. Now, a sigil is more powerful than a symbol because a sigil is multiple symbols within one, creating a vibratory aspect and a frequency within itself. That's why, by the way, when you see certain symbols, if you look at my shirt, when you see certain symbols, you might not know what it is, but automatically it gives you a feeling. When people look at the clothes that I wear, some people get scared and turn away, and some people get drawn to it and want to ask me questions, and next thing you know, I'm in the middle of a class. Because every symbol holds its own resonance and power. This is why at the highest state of your existence, let me not say the highest, at the second to third to highest state of your existence, you wrote in symbols. And the reason why I said that, and I had to correct myself, because at your highest state of existence, you didn't write at all. You didn't need to write. And see, we have this recessive mankind, sixth ether, European, trying to make us believe that writing is a high form of civilization, when as a matter of fact, writing is the proof of your fall from divinity. Because the reason why you had to write is because you lost your telepathic ability. And the reason why your first levels of writing in all existence was symbols is because you were not doing anything besides transferring what you saw in your mind onto something physical. So I saw a feather in my mind, I drew a feather, which was ma'at, which was justice, reciprocity, balance, harmony, so on and so forth. This is why they say a symbol is worth what? 1,000 words. So if a symbol is worth 1,000 words, why the fuck you got me writing letter by letter to write my name? So I need 8 letters to make one name, which you tell me is one definition. But if I write one symbol, I have a whole story behind it. And you want to tell me that that's a primitive state? You want to tell me that when my ancestors was writing symbols on papyrus and on stone, that they were doing something primitive compared to you writing an entire essay where you got to put 8 to 10 letters together just to make one word? That's primitive. And understand that you're degrading yourself down to a level to where you stop being a divine being, becoming in tune with the elements around you as a conduit. Because remember, your physical vessel is a conduit. Your physical vessel is a conduit. And one of the things that makes your physical vessel so absorbent, so magnetizing, and so powerful is the fact that you're 70 to 80% water in the first place. And if you study the element of water, tell me what water holds. It holds memory. And this is why you can transfer and program messages into water. Not only that, water is 2 elements in one, because not only is it water in itself able to absorb all elements and contaminants, but it's also the element of reflection, because you can look into water and see yourself. So that's double the elemental power, which makes water, once again, another powerful element. And we can triple the elemental power by doing what? Allowing it to run upon itself. This is why having a fountain in your home is very powerful. Having a small fountain by your bed that's constantly trickling water, very powerful. It'll change your sleep and everything. Having a fish tank in your home that trickles water, very powerful. So not only are you getting the element of water in itself, not only are you getting the reflection of water in itself, but you're also getting the element of sound being created by water upon itself. So that triples the power. These are all the things that should be in your home and your environment. When you build your kingdom, when you build your realm, build it based upon the foundation of the elements. Fill your home with plants and earth. Fill your home with smell, which is earth again. Fill your home with running water. Fill your home with living things. Fill your home with fire, which is candles. And by the way, another element of fire is the element of sight. Because in order to see, what do you need? Light. Because if there's no light and no photons to hit your iris, you can't see a motherfucking thing. This train's coming back to back now, huh? I guess because it's that time, everybody coming from work or whatever. Build your foundation. Build your home off the elements. Fire, earth, water, air, sound, reflection, and thought. When you build an altar, any of you who's in the occult, you already know that an altar, the foundation of an altar is built off the 4 elements. This is why if you watch people who use an altar, what they also do in an altar is they write a letter, fold it up, and put it under a statue or in an altar, because that's the element of thought. A letter itself, a word itself, anything you write is a thought. Because all thoughts are to be seen. Even if I ask you to think of something that can't be seen, you find a way to symbolize it in your mind in order to think it. Your realm should be built of the elements, creating a foundation. After that, it is your mindset and your frequency and your consistency of these practices that raises the vibration every time you enter your home. Every time you enter your home, you should run your finger through those chimes. When you enter your home, there should be chimes in front of the door that as soon as you enter, those tones resonate throughout the house, bounce off the angles in your room, and actually create a neutralizing effect. There should be constant water running. Whether it's from a fish tank, whether it's from a fountain, no matter what it is, there should be water running upon itself, recycling upon itself. There should be plants around you, earth. It's not difficult to be divine. It's difficult to be human. But on that note, y'all, I love y'all. Mind Ascension. Subscribe, comment, share. I'm making an effort to make sure I don't make my videos too long. So as soon as I see I reach 30 minutes, I start closing it down. But please comment, share, subscribe. And I love y'all. Mind Ascension, I'm out.